The moment millions of Americans have been waiting for is finally here. Tomorrow morning, bank accounts across the nation will be receiving a long-awaited $2,000 deposit courtesy of the IRS, specifically targeted to Social Security, SSDI, and SSI recipients. Yes, you heard that correctly. After months of debate and speculation, the fourth round of stimulus payments has been officially approved, and the funds are already being processed for immediate distribution. Could you be waking up tomorrow to find an extra $2,000 in your account? Are you on the list of Americans who qualify for this substantial financial boost? And what might this mean for your budget during these challenging economic times? If you want to make absolutely sure you don't miss a single dollar of government assistance you're entitled to receive, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you're always the first to know about crucial updates that could put thousands of extra dollars in your pocket this year. This latest stimulus payment comes at a critical moment for the millions of Americans who rely on Social Security retirement benefits, SSDI, and SSI to make ends meet. Unlike previous stimulus measures that cast a wider net across the population, this fourth round has been precisely targeted to assist those living on fixed incomes who have been disproportionately affected by persistent inflation. The $2,000 payment represents the most substantial one-time stimulus yet for these beneficiaries, essentially providing recipients with the equivalent of an additional month of benefits, based on the current average monthly Social Security payment, for households that have been stretching every dollar just to afford basic necessities like food, housing, and medication. This injection of funds provides breathing room and potentially prevents impossible choices between essential needs. The timing of this stimulus distribution is no coincidence. Economic analysts have been warning about the extraordinary burden inflation has placed on fixed-income Americans, particularly older adults who rely heavily on Social Security, and disabled individuals dependent on SSDI and SSI benefits. While cost-of-living adjustments have provided some relief, the reality is that these annual increases often lag behind actual price increases for the goods and services that most heavily impact seniors and disabled Americans, especially healthcare costs, housing, and certain food categories that have seen dramatic price hikes in recent months. This $2,000 payment represents an acknowledgement from policymakers that more direct intervention was necessary to prevent genuine hardship among our most vulnerable citizens. For those wondering exactly who qualifies for this stimulus payment, the eligibility criteria are refreshingly straightforward. All Social Security retirement recipients will receive the payment automatically, regardless of benefit amount, with no application required. The same applies to SSDI recipients, whether they've been receiving benefits for decades or just became eligible recently. SSI recipients are fully included as well, with the full $2,000 amount available regardless of their current monthly benefit level. This comprehensive inclusion reflects a growing recognition among lawmakers that Americans across these various benefit categories have all been facing similar economic pressures as costs for essentials have skyrocketed nationwide. What has financial experts particularly impressed about this stimulus is the unprecedented speed of its implementation. From final legislative approval to actual distribution has taken less than 2 weeks, a remarkably swift timeline compared to previous rounds of economic impact payments. This efficiency stems from lessons learned during earlier stimulus distributions, coupled with improved coordination between the IRS, Treasury Department, and Social Security Administration. Rather than creating new delivery systems from scratch, officials are leveraging the existing direct deposit infrastructure already in place for regular benefit payments, allowing for near-instantaneous transfer of funds to recipients' accounts beginning tomorrow morning. The question many recipients are asking is whether they need to take any action to receive this payment. For the vast majority of eligible Americans, the answer is reassuringly simple: no action whatsoever is required. If you currently receive Social Security, SSDI, or SSI benefits through direct deposit, the $2,000 will appear automatically in the same account where your regular monthly benefits are deposited. For the smaller percentage of recipients who still receive paper checks, the process will take slightly longer, with physical checks scheduled to begin mailing tomorrow and expected to reach mailboxes within 5 to 7 business days, depending on your location. This automatic process eliminates the confusion and delays that characterized some earlier stimulus efforts, where complicated application procedures left many vulnerable Americans waiting months for relief. Many beneficiaries are understandably concerned about how this stimulus payment might affect their existing benefits or create complications with other assistance programs. On this front, the news is overwhelmingly positive. The legislation explicitly classifies these payments as non-taxable disaster relief rather than regular income, meaning they won't count toward income thresholds that could reduce benefits in programs like Medicaid, SNAP, formerly food stamps, or housing assistance. For SSI recipients who must typically adhere to strict asset limitations, special provisions ensure these funds won't jeopardize eligibility when they temporarily increase bank balances. The payment is also completely tax-exempt, so recipients won't face unexpected tax bills when filing returns next year. For those who've recently changed banks or addresses, there might be some additional considerations to ensure prompt receipt of your payment. If you've updated your information with the Social Security Administration or IRS within the past 3 months, your payment should still reach you through your new preferred method without any issues. However, if you've made very recent changes that haven't yet been processed by these agencies, monitoring both your old and new accounts for the next few days would be advisable. In the unlikely event that your payment doesn't arrive within 5 business days, the IRS has established a specialized hotline specifically for this stimulus distribution that can help track and potentially redirect your payment to the correct destination. The economic impact of this stimulus extends far beyond individual recipients. When millions of seniors and disabled Americans suddenly have an additional $2,000 to spend, the ripple effects throughout local economies can be substantial. Small businesses in communities with high concentrations of retirees and benefit recipients are likely to see increased consumer spending in the coming weeks as these funds circulate through the economy. This multiplier effect was one of the key arguments that helped secure bipartisan support for the measure, as legislators from both parties recognized that targeted relief for vulnerable populations could produce broader economic benefits for communities nationwide. So, what should recipients do with this substantial infusion of cash? Financial advisors suggest several approaches depending on individual circumstances. For those with immediate needs, like overdue utility bills or essential medical care that has been postponed due to budget constraints, addressing these pressing concerns should naturally take priority. Others might consider paying down high-interest debt that has accumulated as basic expenses outpaced fixed incomes in recent months. And for those without immediate financial emergencies, setting aside even a portion of these funds as emergency savings could provide crucial protection against future economic challenges. The reality is that each recipient's situation is unique, and there's no one-size-fits-all recommendation for utilizing these funds. It's worth noting that this fourth stimulus payment arrives against the backdrop of ongoing discussions about the future of Social Security, SSDI, and SSI programs. With trust fund solvency concerns looming in the coming decade, many advocacy groups view this immediate relief as just the first step in a broader conversation about strengthening these crucial safety net programs. The willingness to provide substantial emergency assistance now could signal growing recognition among policymakers that more fundamental reforms may be necessary to ensure these programs continue to provide adequate support for vulnerable Americans in the decades ahead. For those watching who aren't currently receiving Social Security benefits but believe they might qualify, this development makes it an especially important time to check your eligibility. With this substantial payment now available to beneficiaries, ensuring you're receiving all benefits you're entitled to becomes even more financially significant. The Social Security Administration offers online screening tools that can help determine whether you might qualify for retirement, disability, or SSI programs. And the potential for receiving not only monthly benefits but also this stimulus payment makes exploration particularly worthwhile at this moment. Some viewers may be wondering whether this fourth stimulus payment represents a one-time occurrence or signals a new approach to supporting beneficiaries during periods of economic pressure. While no official announcements have been made regarding potential fifth or subsequent rounds, sources familiar with ongoing policy discussions suggest that economic conditions will be closely monitored throughout the remainder of the year. If inflation continues to disproportionately impact vulnerable populations, there remains the possibility of additional targeted relief before year's end. This underscores the importance of staying informed about developing news related to benefit programs and potential relief measures. For recipients concerned about potential scams related to this stimulus distribution, it's important to remember a few critical safety guidelines. First, neither the IRS nor Social Security Administration will ever call, text, or email requesting personal information or payment of any kind to release your stimulus funds. Second, there is absolutely no application or processing fee required to receive this payment. It's automatically distributed to eligible recipients at no cost. And third, the payment amount is fixed at $2,000 for all qualifying individuals. Any message suggesting you might receive more by providing additional information is certainly fraudulent. Maintaining vigilance against such scams is particularly important during stimulus distributions, when opportunistic criminals often increase their targeting of vulnerable populations. The implementation of this stimulus distribution also demonstrates a new level of coordination between government agencies responsible for serving vulnerable Americans by synchronizing their databases and payment systems. The IRS, Social Security Administration, and Treasury Department have created a remarkably efficient process for getting funds directly to those who need them most. This improved interagency cooperation could serve as a model for future benefit enhancements and potentially streamline other aspects of government assistance programs moving forward. As we wrap up today's breaking news about tomorrow's extraordinary stimulus payment for Social Security, SSDI, and SSI recipients, I want to emphasize how crucial it is to stay informed about developments affecting your financial well-being. The economic landscape continues to evolve rapidly, with policy changes potentially having major impacts on your monthly budget and overall financial security. That's exactly why subscribing to this channel is so important. We continuously monitor and report on the latest benefit news so you never miss out on funds you're entitled to receive. Will you be waking up tomorrow to find an extra $2,000 in your account? How might these funds help address your most pressing financial needs during these challenging economic times? Drop a comment below sharing your situation or plans. Your perspective helps build our community of informed citizens supporting one another through uncertain times. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you're always first to know about developments that could put extra money in your pocket when you need it most. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.